Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, the Python Gurukul. Today we'll be talking about list, tuple and dictionary, but we don't have to forget to recap whatever we've learned so far. So we already learned Python installation IDE and we went through first Python program. We did hands-on on the variables, string, numbers, and today we'll be starting with the list. So whenever we need to store data, we need to find the way how we want to store them. Already Python has given pre-built data structures. As per our requirement, we can use one of them and we don't have to worry about the memory management. And many important methods and functions are already pre-built available for us to use. So let's see. So we define list as a collection of items in a particular order. So we need to remember that we are talking about the order data. They will be stored in order, and we have an index which we can use to access, modify, and remove the data. How we can define them? So to define, we have to take one variable and the greatest bracket we can use. If we want to store some data in it, we'll be using different items separated by commas. So in the second example, where we are saying that we have flowers variable, now we are storing jasmine, lily, peony, and tulip data inside it. As we said, if we have to access the data from the list, we can use the index. So what we can do, give the variable name, bracket, and then the index. In this picture, we have given that items will be in the ordered form. They will start with the index 0 and they will be incremented by 1. We can access the items from the both sides. From the left side, we can call them with the 0 index and so on. From the end, if we have to read the data, we will be using -1. So, and we'll be also going through few methods which we have learned while working with the strings, and we can showcase that how we can use those functions while using the list. So let's do some hands-on in it. I'll bring the Python interpreter, and there I will define one list. I'm just giving the L a variable name for the list, and then I'm going to say that we are going to store a couple of the flowers name like jasmine, lily, and tulip. Okay, and let's see what we have inside it. Let's check the type of this particular variable, and it said that yeah, it is a list. If we want to access any of the item, we can use the indexes, and simply we have to use the variable name, bracket, and then the index. Let's say we want to read the first data of the list, we'll be saying that L of 0. We want to read last item of the list. So we can access from two. Another one is starting from the left side, counting from the 0, 0, 1, 2. So we can say L of 2, which will be returning the last item of the list. Also, we can say L minus 1. If you remember, we talked that we can access the data from both sides. And now we can access the T either using the 2 or -1. And there are other data structures. So we will be trying to learn about them and compare them how they are different. Uh, the next one is the tuple. Someone called tuple. We can call it. I prefer to call it tuple. So we have to remember it is exactly the list, but how it is different? It is immutable. We cannot change the data inside the tuple. How we define it? So we'll be defining with a smaller bracket. And another very important thing we need to remember that while defining, we have to separate with the comma and make sure that at the end of the items, we are including comma. Then it will get to know that these are the tuples data. And the remaining thing will be the same. As we access the data in the list, same way we'll be accessing the data in tuple. But how it is different if they are similar? So the first line is say that immutable, anything which we are not going to change, like name of the month is ordered, but will be not changing. Days, it's ordered, will be not changing. So if we have to store similar kind of data, we'll prefer to use the tuple for those purposes. Again, we'll be able to call upper as we can call the upper on the list. Similarly, we can call the upper on the tuple. And to access, it is the same. We can access this data either from indexes from the left side, or we can access from the right side using the minus. So let's take a look at the tuple. So now I am going to define tuple with the name T, and we are going to store some data inside it. We are going to say 11, 22, 33, and as we said, we need to make sure that we are ending with comma. So now we got the T, now we got the value printed of the T. We are going to check what kind of variable it is. So it is tuple. How it is different? So let's see. We are going to read one of the item from the tuple, and I'll say first item 11, last item 33, and we can use the negative as well, the T minus 1, 22. So we can see that we are doing everything very similar to list. What we cannot do, let's see. So once again, uh, just to remind ourselves that L has JLT. Now I am planning to update J with some other value. So what I'm going to say, L of 0 equal to JJ. Okay, let's check the L. Now L has JJ. How about T? T is tuple. It has 11, 22, 33. What I want to do, I want to update the T of 0, like replace 11 with triple one. Let's see what will happen. It is not going to allow because it is a tuple. We cannot change the data inside the tuple. And let's move on. And the next one is dictionary. So dictionary is a collection of unordered key value pair. It is not ordered. There is nothing which is helping us to order data, but it has the key and value pair. We can access any of the value if we know the key. We can have the duplicate values, but we cannot have duplicate key. How we define it? It's very simple. List was with the greatest bracket, flower was with the smallest bracket, and dictionary is with the middle bracket. How we assign some data inside the dictionary? So we'll be using the middle bracket. We have to define the key and then the value separated by colon. So this particular piece is one data key value pair. Another data if you want to add, we'll use the separator as a comma, use another key, use respective value, and so on. We can have the key and value pair. Accessing is very much similar to the way we have been accessing the indexes. Here there are no indexes, there is no order, so we'll be using key to access the value. We can call the dictionary name and then use the key and then print the value. This key could be numeric, could be string, it could be anything. So let's take some hands-on on it. I'm going to define dictionary. In the dictionary, we have J and j is going to hold the value 1. We'll separate, we'll define another variable with the name L. We use the colon and we'll give the value 22, comma, and then another key with the name T, and then the value 33. Okay. So now we have defined dictionary. Dictionary. We can print the D, and we can see that key and value pair. We can access any of the key by just calling any of the value by just calling the key, and J is not defined. So we'll be saying D of J. Actually, I have to use the quotes, otherwise it will not know what we are calling. So we can say D of J. Similarly, we can call the D of T. So we can see that we can access the data, but we need to know the key. Okay. As we saw that we can call the list, we can call the upper method, we'll get the JJ. Similarly, we can T, we can call the upper on top of the T. So I'm going to do the uppercase to the first item of the tuple. We'll call the same method, T dot so let's see. T of 0 dot upper, and oh right, which it has a number and we cannot do the um, upper to the numbers. So that's correct. And then we are going to call this dictionary. And for the dictionary, we will be, let's print the dictionary now. Um, so we can say, yeah, again, even the dictionary has the key and it has the value as a numeric data. So what I'll do, dictionary, I'll add another item inside the dictionary and I'll say A, and it has the value double A. And then we can call D of A upper, and this one should return the uppercase. So this was a kind of comparison and use how we can use the list tuple dictionary. Now we'll be just exploring few more fun stuff regarding them. How we can modify the data. We saw that we can modify the data by just calling the list name, specifying the indexes, and then giving the new values. We can also call the append. We can also call the insert. We can call the remove. We can delete the entire list itself, and we can do the pop. But thing to remember is this is not going to happen with the tuple, because with the tuple we cannot modify anything. So if we are going to append anything inside the existing list, that's that's where we are going to modify the tuple itself, and that is not supported in the tuple. So also we'll be not able to append, we'll be not able to insert, we'll be not able to update or modify. will be not able to remove. So anything which is going to update, modify, will be not allowed with the tuple. So that's how it looks different, and we can do all the operation, modification operation on top of the list, but it is not allowed for tuple. And very similar with the dictionary. Dictionary is not order data, so we'll be not able to use anything which is referring to indexes. And we, we have, if we have to add the data, we have to add the key and then value pair. So let's take a look at one of them. So now we know that we have list, and we are going to append data in the list, and I'm just going to say append 100. Let's print the list. So earlier we had JLT, now we added 100, but is this possible with the tuple? So T dot append 100, no. Let's D dot append, no, this is not correct because we have to give the key and then a value. So this is not going to happen. So this is how we have the different data structure. There are more, but we'll start with these three: list, tuple, and dictionary, and then we'll explore more on it. So moving to organizing this data. So already pre-built methods are available for sorting in the reverse order. Um, in the memory, if we don't want to sort the actual data, we can do the sorting in the memory itself. For that, we have sorted. Also, we have the reverse. Um, remember, wherever we have to modify the data itself, we'll be not able to use those methods with the tuple. So in the sort, we are going to sort the data, but it is not supported for the tuple. For dictionary, there are no orders, so there is no point sorting them. Yes, the one which we are doing the sorting in the memory, we are doing on the list, we can do on the tuple, and we can do the same thing on the dictionary. So let's take a look at least one or two of them. I'll bring the Python interpreter once again, and we'll bring the list, and we are going to sort the list. Right, it has the number, so it is not going to sort. So let's do that. L, I'm going to define the new L, say A, B, C, A. And then going to call the sort. Print the L. It is sorted. I think already I had the sorted. So what I'm going to do, L dot reverse and print L. So we can see that we are changing the data inside the list. But let's bring the tuple T, then call the sort, and we cannot do that. T dot reverse, we cannot do that. But what we can do, we can call the sorted and then pass the T, and this sort is happening in the memory. If we print the T, let me define another tuple to make it more meaningful. So T1, and then I'm going to define 3, 2, 1, 1 completely, and then separate it. And then I'm going to call sorted T. So it is sorted, but if I try to print the actual tuple, it is not sorted. Sorry. T1. So once again, let's bring the T1 sorted and present the T1. This is what I was trying to explain that uh, whatever sorting we did, this sorting is in the memory. It is not changing the actual data. That's where tuple will not let us to change the actual data. And when we have did the sorted, we are able to retrieve the original data. And let's bring the dictionary and try to call the d dot sort. It is not supported. What we can do, sorted and pass the d, and then we can see that we are getting the sorted. So these are the key, and it is returning the key in the form of sorted order. But let's bring the d again. So d remains as it is, and there were no sorting, but we have the option. If you want to print in sorted order, we can call the sorted function and we can sort the dictionary. Okay, that's all I had. Thank you all for watching, and we'll talk to you later. Bye for now. If you like the video, share and subscribe.